Rogin, who wrote about the politicization of the Ukrainian aid, what that future is going to look like. Josh, I was just fascinated by this reporting. And essentially what you saw is that McCarthy's ouster that happened on Tuesday actually made passing any new aid to Ukraine, you say, quote, extremely difficult, perhaps impossible. What did you hear from these lawmakers?
Right. Well, for weeks, actually months, Democrats and some Republicans and the Biden administration, frankly, were depending on Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy to get the aid through. They were telling everybody, including reporters, that it was only a small number of Republicans that were opposed to it and that those Republicans could be managed. Well, no one can say that anymore. And McCarthy's gone and McConnell has lost control of his caucus. And they were successful in stripping the aid out. And McCarthy thought he was doing that as a concession to the right-wingers, and the right-wingers removed him anyway. So now the Ukraine aid is in the worst possible position ever. It's not in the bill. It's going to take an active act of Congress to put it back into the next funding bill. And there's no clear path on the House floor. And there's no promise by Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise to bring it up to the House floor in the first place. And if the funding doesn't come through, within a couple of weeks or a couple of months, depending on who you ask, the Ukrainians are going to run out of money. And then all of a sudden, they're going to be short on weapons, and more people will die, and Vladimir Putin will benefit.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Jordan has said he doesn't favor more Ukraine funding right now. But what I'm so struck by is that Kevin McCarthy took it out of that short-term bill that they passed. I mean, obviously in hopes of getting it passed and appeasing the lawmakers who said no to it. I mean, both results would have ended in him being ousted. So, I mean, I think the question is, should he have just left it in there anyway?
Right, you're right. He got played. He gave a concession for no reason. And then even after they took it out of the bill, still Democrats in the administration were like, oh, don't worry, Kevin McCarthy will get it done in the long run. But now he can't get it done, and there's no plan B. And yeah, I think this shows that the opposition was much more entrenched than we thought, that we underestimated the MAGA lawmakers' capacity for maneuver and their ability to think 2 or 3 steps ahead. And what that means now is that the Biden administration, Democrats and Republicans who support Ukraine, who don't want to see the counteroffensive undermined at the most important point, America's credibility undermined around the world, will have to come up with a smarter strategy and a better explanation to the American people as to why this is in America's national interest. And I think they better get to it pretty fast.
Yeah, seems like a tougher argument every day with what we're seeing in the polling. Josh Rogin, great reporting. Everyone can read the full report at thewashingtonpost.com. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Anytime.
And thank you so much for